In India, elections are supposed to be a festival of democracy, but nowadays it looks more like a magic show, where the Election Commission is the magician, pulling out laws and the rules out of thin air, and sometimes even misquoting the Supreme Court for extra drama. The Election Commission of this country shamelessly, in a press conference, not only gave a wrong explanation of law, but also misquoted the Supreme Court. What was the purpose? Only the Election Commission knows. But in this video, we will explain how these wrong statements were made and what actually is the procedure as per law. If you don't know what we are talking about, then let me give you a brief recap. In the recent past, Rahul Gandhi dropped what can only be called a data bomb. From the voter list in Karnataka, he explained how there are duplicate voters, fake addresses, and bulk registrations, sometimes with 80 voters registered in a single house. Then enters the Election Commission, like the villain in a Bollywood movie. And instead of a gun, they had Rule 20 in their hand and started delivering dialogues longer than a daily soap. First, they sought an oath under Rule 20, subclause 3b of the Registration of Electoral Rules, and last week, they declared in the press conference that the allegations are baseless and insult to the Constitution. And then came the ultimatum. Rahul Gandhi must submit an affidavit within a week or apologize to the nation. Have a listen to what the Election Commission said about the oath and the registration of electoral rules.
लेकिन अगर आप उस विधानसभा क्षेत्र के निर्वाचक नहीं हैं, उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी के आप इलेक्टर नहीं हैं, और अगर आप अपनी शिकायत को आगे बढ़ाना चाहते हैं, एक विषय होता है शिकायत करना, एक होता है उसके ऊपर भ्रम फैलाना, और एक होता है उसके ऊपर चुनाव आयोग पर आरोप लगाना। तो ग्रेडेड रिस्पांस के तहत अगर आप उस क्षेत्र के निर्वाचक नहीं हैं, तो आपके पास एकमात्र कानून में विकल्प है, और वो है रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ इलेक्टोरल रूल्स, रूल संख्या 20, सब क्लॉज 3, सब क्लॉज बी, जो ये कहता है कि अगर आप निर्वाचक नहीं हैं उस विधानसभा क्षेत्र के, तो आप एक विटनेस के तौर पर अपनी शिकायत दर्ज करा सकते हैं, और इलेक्टोरल रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑफिसर को आपको एक ओथ देनी होगी, और वो ओथ जिस व्यक्ति के खिलाफ आपने शिकायत की है उसके सामने एडमिनिस्टर करानी होगी। ये कानून शायद इस सदन में बैठे सभी लोगों के जन्म के पूर्व का बना हुआ है, और मेरे सारे मतदाताओं को अपराधी बनाना और चुनाव आयोग शांत रहे, संभव नहीं। हलफनामा देना होगा या देश से माफी मांगनी होगी, तीसरा विकल्प नहीं है।
Looks like even the Election Commission is not aware about the rules it is trying to rely upon. Election Commission has been pressing hard the Rule 20 of the registration rules to say that the Rahul Gandhi must submit affidavit. But the rule itself starts with, and I quote, the registration officer shall hold a summary inquiry into every claim or objection in respect of which notice has been given under Rule 19 and shall record his decision thereon. Meaning thereby, Rule 20 can be invoked only after the procedure of Rule 19 is completed, but the Election Commission has done nothing that is mentioned in Rule 19. To make it easy for you to understand, let me tell you what the procedure actually says. First, the draft voter list is published as per the Rule 10. Then, a 30 days period is given for lodging claims and objections as per Rule 12. Rule 13 subclause 2 says that objection can be preferred only by a person whose name is already included in that roll. Then claims and objections must be considered if properly filed on time. Rule 18 says that they can be accepted without inquiry, but if an inquiry is demanded, then hearing becomes necessary. Rule 19 says that notice of hearing must be sent to all the concerned parties in Form 13 and 14 in case of objections to inclusion of name. And finally comes Rule 20. A proper inquiry must be held where the claimant, objector and the person objected to are all heard. In simple words, no decision without a hearing. And in that hearing, any person who is giving evidence can be required to tender that evidence on oath. But you cannot call for oath without giving notice to all the parties and without a proper hearing. This is just the crux. For a detailed procedure, you can go through another video that is on our channel. See, the rules in our country are like traffic laws. In theory, they are perfect. But in practice, nobody follows them. But Election Commission of India skipped all the procedure and went straight to bring the affidavit please. It is like skipping the starter and the main course and asking directly for the bill. Election Commission of India is right to say that the person who is not the voter of the particular area cannot raise any objection, but is wrong to jump directly to Rule 20, subclause 3, without complying with the procedure explained in the preceding rules. As a matter of fact, These rules are only applicable when the draft voter list is prepared or during revision of the list. And as such, these rules are not applicable to the present case. The efforts of the Election Commission of India are nothing but big eyewash. Now let us talk about another big lie that the Election Commission of India has relied upon, the Supreme Court. Election Commission of India says this.
मशीन रीडेबल के ऊपर मैंने आपको शुरुआती उसमें बताया था कि 2019 में माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी इस विषय का गहन अध्ययन किया और ये पाया कि मशीन रीडेबल इलेक्टोरल रोल देने से वोटर की प्राइवेसी का हनन हो सकता है। इसलिए मशीन रीडेबल एक अलग चीज़ है। मशीन रीडेबल का अर्थ होता है कि आप उस इलेक्टोरल रोल को पढ़ भी सकते हैं। उसमें अगर आपके पास कंप्यूटर पे वो सूची आ गई तो आप ये फ़ोटो उठा के दूसरी जगह भी डाल सकते हैं। अगर आपने एक व्यक्ति की फ़ोटो दूसरी जगह डाल दी और पलट दी तो वो व्यक्ति वोट ही नहीं कर पाएगा, क्योंकि जब वो वोट करने जाएगा तो उसका चेहरा नहीं मिलेगा। तो मशीन रीडेबल एक अलग चीज़ है, मशीन रीडेबल वर्जित है। तो उसको आप, ये चुनाव आयोग का अकेला फैसला नहीं है, ये चुनाव आयोग का फैसला माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजमेंट के बाद है।
But the Honorable Supreme Court never observed or gave a verdict that the machine readable list can lead to breach of privacy of voters. In judgment titled Kamalnath versus Election Commission of India, the Supreme Court held, and I quote, "Once we find that the clause 11.2.2.2 does not entitle the petitioner to get the draft roll in the text mode, which is searchable as well as viz in full text form, it is for the Election Commission of India to decide about the format in which the draft electoral roll is to be published. Election Commission of India has given the reasons for not adhering to the request of the petitioner in providing draft electoral rolls in searchable PDF format. According to it, issues of privacy of voters are involved, and the move of the Election Commission of India is aimed at prevention of voter profiling and data mining. According to Election Commission of India, ensuring free and fair election to which it is committed also necessitates that the Election Commission of India is duty bound to protect the privacy and profiling of electors. Therefore, it is duty bound to take all precautionary measures. However, it is not necessary to go into this aspect." Unquote. So the Supreme Court of India left it for the Election Commission to decide the format of the draft roll, and never went into the aspect of privacy that was argued by the Election Commission. The question was decided on some other argument, but the Election Commission is shamelessly hiding behind this judgment and says, "The Supreme Court agrees with us, now we cannot do anything." If the Chief Election Commission of India has no knowledge of the rules and the law, then one can imagine what kind of implementation of rules is being carried out on the ground. No wonder in India, the state is the biggest litigator. Even the babus of the country are busy doing politics rather than doing their job, for which they take big fat check. And now, the real trick of the Election Commission becomes clear. By demanding an affidavit, they make it clear as if Rahul Gandhi is only shouting in the air without evidence. But the law they are trying to rely upon itself says hearing and inquiry are compulsory. Only through inquiry can the truth come out. By bypassing this process, the Election Commission of India takes a shortcut, and to the public, it looks like they are the unquestionable authority. It's like the doctor refusing to examine you, but declaring, "Just sign an affidavit that you are sick, or else I will presume that you are healthy." That is how the process gets completely twisted. So the real question is the Election Commission fooling the nation with half-truths and technicalities? And are we, the voters, reduced to pawns in the game of affidavit and press conferences? Is Rahul Gandhi raising real issues, or is the Election Commission auditioning for the Kapil Sharma show? It is for you to decide. But one thing is sure, in India, affidavits are more entertaining than the Netflix. Write in the comments, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and submit your affidavit with the declaration that you understand what kind of stupid era we have stepped into.